Bedford Living magazine. We are here tonight at the Bedford Village Inn Grand Hotel, and we are celebrating International Women's Day. The cover of our March issue was celebrating all the international women that live in Bedford, and we are thrilled to have them here. This issue was our largest issue ever, and we had over 40 stories of women from all over the world. So thanks to Marie Russell and Gabby Matters and the BVI, we've gotten the women together, and they're just toasting themselves and their lives and their accomplishments. So thanks for joining us. Standing with me now is Cremina Starr, and she moved to Bedford 7 years ago, and she's from Bulgaria. And we just wanted to check in with you and say, what is International Women's Day? What does that mean to you?
International Women's Day is very important because it's a day to reach out and connect with all your female friends across the world and celebrate being a woman. Historically, it is a time where men and children appreciate and respect the ladies that are important in their lives. I grew up in Bulgaria, and it coincides for Bulgarians with Mother's Day. And so we celebrate it with great enthusiasm. Women are given gift cards, greeting cards, flowers, chocolates, and other surprises. And the traditional flowers for that day are carnations, but other spring blossoms such as tulips and hyacinths are not uncommon. The festivities reach such extent that by the end of the day, flower shops run out of bouquets and stores run out of their best chocolates. And International Women's Day is very important because it's time to pause and appreciate the important role that women play in society, and that feminism is not about dominance but balance. It is actually one of my favorite holidays because I take the time to appreciate people around me, and the holiday itself celebrates women as feminists, but at the same time allows us to embrace our feminine side.
So I had a question. I wanted to know, can women in America celebrate International Women's Day? Because this looks like a lot of fun, and I think a lot of us are curious about this.
And the answer is absolutely. I feel that there is a little bit of confusion when the meaning is translated, because international doesn't mean that you have to have international background. It means that it's for all women around the world to get together and celebrate. And it's simply a question of choice and cultural following that we can introduce this holiday and have it for all American women as well.
Thank you so much for your insight and your time. Now go enjoy a glass of champagne from the BVI, and we're going to bring on a couple more guests.
My pleasure.
Now I'm here with two of my friends, Gabby Matters and Marie Russell. Gabby is from Hungary, Budapest, and Marie, where are you from?
Ireland.
Oh, yay! Okay, and I think I read in Bedford Living that you've been here for 8 years?
Yes, correct.
And 13, if I recall?
Yes.
Okay, good. So these two approached me and said, Lynn, we have a great idea for a cover article. And so I listened to them, and I was blown away. I said, go for it, take over. I'm too busy. So they became my guest editors. Talk to me about the experience.
Well, it was phenomenal. As you can see, we were able to bring together 42 nationalities of women here in Bedford, New Hampshire. Who would ever have thought there were 42 nationalities of families living here? And possibly even more that we haven't found yet.
Yes, absolutely. And it was amazing that to find also friendship during this time with Marie. We bonded really well, and we really thank Lynn for giving us this space, the pages in the magazine, and the platform, and the visibility for the international women in Bedford. Because actually, we knew that there are many, right, Marie? But we have never seen them all together, like in the magazine or like today. You came to celebrate with us together this holiday.
Yes, and one of the things that Gabby noticed, like right from the beginning of our little gathering for the photo, was the connections. That she said to me, we are all connected to one another in some way, so you need to find your connection. And did you have a connection that day that you want to talk
amazing.
about?
I think you cannot believe it that you just start speaking to someone and then you figure out that, oh, you lived in the same place, or your kids went to the same school, or, you know, the small things what connect you to each other, like this big international. And I think it's a great way to find out who we are.
Yeah, and I remember chatting with the mom from Newfoundland, and when I said to her, I said, oh yes, I've actually been to St. John's, and she's like, you have? Nobody's been to Newfoundland. And I said, yes, I've actually been there. And then I discovered that she was very involved in caring for medically the people who landed in Gander, Newfoundland on 9/11. And she was actually invited to New York City to be at the premiere of that show. And ironically, of course, Gabby had just gone to New York and bought me tickets from the box office to go to that same show. And I was like, it's such a small world, yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. I wanted to say as well, at the photo shoot, we did it at Mo Redmond's house, that beautiful old barn. They were very kind to share with us. But what I lived in New York City for 15 years, and we had the UN there. I've been to the UN, but who would have thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be in a little town of Bedford, New Hampshire, and be surrounded by women from all over the world. It was one of the most rewarding work experiences of my life, and I'm just so thrilled. And I do notice that since the article's been out, people are saying, oh, there's somebody from there? I didn't know that. And now they're starting their own communities. So that's just a gift right there.
Yes.
And that's what we thought with Marie, that, you know, because we have this amazing community now, we connected to, right? And we thought, okay, let's do something about it. So we actually created our own International Women of Bedford Facebook group, and we are planning to meet maybe once a month.
And we invite anybody out there who is an international woman to come join us, look us up. We'd love to have you.
I'm now standing with Chami Pereira. She is from Sri Lanka and has been in Bedford for 5 years. She and I met at the barn photo shoot, and I loved her right away. She went to Penn State, and my husband loves Penn State. So talk to us. What do you like about Bedford, and what do you miss about Sri Lanka?
Yeah, I love Bedford and New Hampshire in general. I mean, talk about woods, lakes, mountains, skiing. It's absolutely beautiful and a wonderful place to raise our children. So it's a huge stark difference from Sri Lanka, which is a very tropical, super hot island with beaches, with warm water. And so I do miss that part of it, but it's very much best of both worlds for me, really, both Sri Lanka and Bedford. So.
Have your children been back to Sri
Absolutely.
Lanka?
Absolutely.
How often do you go?
I go at least once in 2 years because my mother and my sister still live there.
Oh,
and
nice.
I very much want my children to have a bit of both cultures, and they go back with me every time.
That's wonderful. And has your family come to visit you in Bedford?
Absolutely, yes. And I have extended Sri Lankan family in the States and in Canada, so I still get a little bit of that.
Oh, talk to me, because I'm a big eater. I just love food. Talk to me about the food. Do you miss the Sri Lankan food?
Absolutely. So there's a big misconception just because we're Sri Lanka and we're in the region of India that the food is similar. And as much as you can get Indian food, you cannot find Sri Lankan food easily unless you go to New York or some of maybe the larger metropolitan cities. It's different to Indian food. It's coconut based, so coconut oil, coconut cream, coconut flakes, and spicier. way spicier. So it's really unique and hard to find, and I love it, and I miss it very much. And I hope I can, find a way to bring it to all of you at some point.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is you could do a resident recipe
Yes.
for us in Bedford Living.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people would appreciate that, so I'm going to be on you for that next.
Absolutely.
And
I love
then,
to.
we could do a potluck dinner.
I
maybe.
think we should.
And-
I am waiting to taste all of these ladies.
Okay, so that's next. And if anybody wants to join, email somebody else because my box is full. But thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now with Sylvie, she's from Argentina and has been in Bedford for 24 years. So where's home for you, Argentina or Bedford?
Both at home. I have my life in here. I do my work in here. I enjoy friends. And when I go to Argentina, Argentina is home. So both places are home. If I'm there, I miss Bedford. If I am here, sometimes I miss Argentina. But I have everything I need in here too.
And what do you miss most about Argentina that you wish would happen here?
The Buenos Aires have a wonderful nightlife, and I miss to go late dinners and go to the theater, walk the city, and enjoy the changing times every day, going somewhere different. Go to museums if you want. Just a walking distance, not to need the car for going to places. Just walk, jump in a subway.
Right, the city life.
The city life.
Yeah, I guess, well, that's why you have two homes now. You have the city and then you have the country.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
Hi, now we're here with Shweta. She was on the cover of the January issue. And with those cute boys.
Thank you.
And she's been in Bedford for 6 years and comes from India.
Yes.
So tell us about your story. What brings you here?
My husband and I are physicians, and we basically came from India about, I think 16, 17 years ago. We did our training in Philadelphia and New York, respectively, and then moved to Keene, New Hampshire, but it was too small. Not our style. So we moved to Bedford about 6 years ago because it was a great place to raise our kids.
And how do you like it so far?
Oh, we love it. We love the
do?
diversity. We love working in Manchester, so close by at the hospitals. And then everything about the schools.
Yeah, schools are wonderful. Do you get to go back to India?
Yes, I do,
How
actually.
often?
Well, at least once a year, but
nice.
recently I went a little, I went in November and then in January because my father passed away.
Oh, I'm
That
sorry.
was a different situation.
I'm sorry. Have your children been?
Oh yes, they have been to
Oh, good.
India
So-
at least a few times, yeah.
Okay, and talk to me about food.
Oh,
Food. Because I love food.
we would spend the whole night here if we started talking
so
about
will you
it.
submit a recipe to Bedford Living? for us?
Absolutely, I will.
I got it on camera, so you have to now.
I will
okay?
do it.
Okay, can't wait. We can't wait to share. Thank you so
Absolutely,
much.
thank you.
Okay. All right, last but not least, we have the wonderful Joanne Smith. She's part of the reason Bedford Living is here. She's been my photographer since day one. And I just wanted to thank you for that. She's also helping with this production, so thank you so much. Joanne is from the United Kingdom, and she's been here for 26 years?
26 years.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. Do I look old enough to have
Oh
been
my
here for
God!
26
No,
years?
you look to it. Yeah, your whole life. Maybe you were born in
yeah,
the UK,
right?
right? So talk to us about your experience. How do you like Bedford? Do you consider this home?
I do. I love Bedford. So I'm from southern England originally, but even when in England, I lived in Scotland. I mean, in the UK, I lived in Scotland. I lived in Wales. I lived in England. And then I moved to Boston and then to Bedford when my daughter was born about 20 years ago. And I love it. I love to go home. I love to see my family, but I could never move back to the UK because the United States and Bedford now is really my home, and I love it here.
Nice. And so you run your photography studio, right? Headshots Photography. And is that based in Boston or Bedford?
Yeah, I've had the business for, I've been running it for about 15 years now. It's based, I started off in Boston. I still have a studio in downtown Boston, but now I also have a studio in Manchester and in Nashua, New Hampshire, which I love. I prefer not to commute to Boston, so this is perfect.
Oh, good.
And, I'm just thrilled to be here, and I, work all over the state.
Nice. Well, how do you like being a cover girl now? You're usually behind the
I
camera.
would way rather be behind the camera than in front of the camera, but it's great. And my husband Peter helped out by actually shooting this cover
Yes,
photo.
he was
so
great.
He was amazing.
Yes, thank him
I
for us,
did.
please.
Yeah,
Good,
so
good.
he's very happy. But it's fun. I'm really happy with the result, and everybody has their eyes open and they're smiling. And I'm thrilled with the addition and really happy with the picture.
Good. Well, we're so happy you contribute all the time, and we thank you, and thanks for sharing your story with us.
My pleasure, and thanks for doing this. This is great.
Okay, good. Thank you all for joining us today. This is the first of the Bedford Living series. We just want to bring the community together in a positive way and bring the magazine to life. And we can only do that if you all will share your stories. Have a great night.